Hello, and welcome to Smart Ways to Save Money in the US in 2025. I'm your guide on this journey to financial empowerment. Over the next 18 episodes, we'll explore practical, innovative, and effective strategies to help you take control of your finances, build your savings, and secure your future. In today's world, simply earning more isn't always enough. The key to financial freedom lies in mastering the art of saving. It's about making conscious decisions, building smart habits, and understanding where your money is truly going. Whether you're saving for a down payment on a house, planning for retirement, paying off debt, or simply want to build a safety net, the principles we'll discuss will provide you with a solid foundation. In this first chapter, we're going to lay the groundwork. We'll call this chapter The Great Financial Awakening, Budgeting for a New Era. Before we can dive into the clever tricks and specific saving hacks, we need to start with the most critical tool in your financial arsenal, the budget. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Budgeting? That sounds restrictive and boring. I want you to throw that old-fashioned idea out the window. Think of a budget not as a financial diet, but as a roadmap. It doesn't limit your freedom. It gives you the freedom to direct your money where you want it to go, rather than wondering where it all went at the end of the month. In 2025, budgeting isn't about painstakingly tracking every penny in a dusty ledger. It's about leveraging technology and a new mindset to create a flexible, powerful plan that works for your life. So, where do we begin? The first step is what I call the honest income and expense audit. You can't plan your journey without knowing your starting point. This means you need to get a crystal clear picture of your finances. For 1 month, your mission is to track everything. And I mean everything. Every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. Let's start with income. This is usually the easy part. Tally up your paychecks after taxes, any side hustle income, and any other regular sources of cash flow. This is your total monthly income, your financial firepower for the month. Now comes the more revealing part, tracking your expenses. This is where most people get their first big surprise. We often have a vague idea of our major bills, like rent or a mortgage payment, and our car payment. But it's the small, seemingly insignificant purchases that often derail our savings goals. That daily $5 coffee, the $10 lunch, the subscription service you forgot you had, the impulse buys online. They add up, and they add up fast. For this audit, you need to be a detective. Use a budgeting app, a simple spreadsheet, or even just a dedicated notebook. Connect your bank accounts and credit cards to an app that can automatically categorize your spending. Popular options include Mint, In-App, You Need a Budget, or Personal Capital. These tools do the heavy lifting for you, sorting your spending into categories like groceries, transportation, entertainment, and utilities. As you track, you'll start to see patterns emerge. You might realize you're spending way more on takeout than you thought, or that a couple of subscription services you barely use are quietly draining your account each month. This isn't about judging yourself. It's about gathering data. Knowledge is power. Seeing the raw numbers in black and white is often the catalyst we need to make real change. You might discover a latte factor of your own, a small, recurring expense that's costing you hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars a year. This audit is the diagnostic phase. We're identifying the leaks in your financial bucket before we try to fill it. Once you have a full month of data, it's time for the second step, categorize and confront. Now we'll organize those expenses into 3 key buckets: fixed, variable, and discretionary. Fixed expenses are the ones that are generally the same every month. This includes things like your rent or mortgage, car payments, insurance premiums, and loan payments. These are the pillars of your budget, the non-negotiables that you have to plan for first. Next, we have your variable expenses. These are necessities, but the amount can change from month to month. Think groceries, gasoline for your car, and utilities like electricity and water. You have some control over these. You can choose to buy generic brands at the grocery store or be more conscious about turning off lights to save on electricity. We will dive deep into strategies for cutting down these variable costs in a later chapter. Finally, we have the most flexible and often most problematic category, discretionary spending. This is the wants category. It includes everything from dining out, going to the movies, buying new clothes, hobbies, and vacations. This is the area where you have the most control and where the biggest initial savings can often be found. Looking at your spending audit, how much of your money is going into this discretionary bucket? The answer might be shocking. But again, no judgment. This is about awareness. This is the moment of your great financial awakening. With your income and expenses clearly laid out and categorized, we move to the third and most empowering step, building your 2025 proactive spending plan. Notice I'm not calling it a restrictive budget. A spending plan is a forward-looking document that aligns your spending with your values and your goals. This is where you tell your money what to do. One of the most effective methods for this is the 50/30/20 rule. It's a simple yet powerful framework. The idea is to allocate 50% of your after-tax income to your needs, your fixed and essential variable expenses, 30% to your wants, your discretionary spending, and a crucial 20% to savings and debt repayment. Let's break that down. The 50% for needs covers your rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, and insurance. These are the essentials for living. If you find that your needs are taking up more than 50% of your income, it might be a sign that your core living expenses are too high for your current income level, and you may need to consider bigger changes, like finding a cheaper place to live or reducing transportation costs. The 30% for wants is where your lifestyle spending happens. This is your entertainment, dining out, and hobbies. This is not about eliminating fun from your life. It's about enjoying your life guilt-free because you have a plan. You've allocated this money specifically for enjoyment. And now for the most important part of this framework, the 20% for savings and debt repayment. This is non-negotiable. This is you paying your future self first. Before you pay your landlord, before you buy groceries, you set aside this portion for your financial goals. This includes building an emergency fund, saving for retirement, investing, and paying down high-interest debt like credit cards or personal loans. The pay yourself first principle is the cornerstone of building wealth. Automate this process. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account the day you get paid. This way, the money is out of sight and out of mind, and you're not tempted to spend it. The 50/30/20 rule is a guideline, not a strict law. You might need to adjust the percentages based on your personal situation. If you have a lot of high-interest debt, you might want to increase your savings and debt repayment percentage to 30% or even 40% for a period of time by reducing your wants. The goal is to create a plan that is realistic and sustainable for you. A budget that is too strict is likely to fail, just like a crash diet. We're aiming for a long-term, healthy financial lifestyle. Finally, the key to making your spending plan work in 2025 is to review and refine regularly. Your financial life is not static. Your income might change, your expenses might change, and your goals will certainly evolve. Set aside a time each week, maybe just 15 or 20 minutes, to check in on your spending. Are you sticking to your plan? Where are you overspending? What's working well? This regular check-in allows you to make small course corrections along the way, rather than getting to the end of the month and realizing you've completely gone off track. Life happens. An unexpected car repair or medical bill can pop up. Your spending plan gives you the framework to handle these situations without derailing your long-term goals. So, your homework from this first chapter is to conduct your honest income and expense audit. Track everything for the next few weeks. Get comfortable with the numbers. In our next chapter, we'll take the data you've collected and explore the quick wins, slaying your subscriptions and cutting daily costs. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of how to start making immediate changes that will fatten your wallet. But for now, focus on understanding your own financial landscape. This awareness is the first and most important step on the path to financial freedom. You've taken that step today. Welcome back to Smart Ways to Save Money in the US in 2025. In our last chapter, we embarked on the Great Financial Awakening, focusing on the foundational step of creating an honest and detailed budget. You've audited your income and expenses, and now you have a clear map of where your money is going. That knowledge is your superpower. Now that you have the data, it's time to take action. The journey to significant savings can feel like a marathon, but it starts with a few powerful first steps. That's what this chapter is all about. We're calling it the quick wins, slaying your subscriptions and cutting daily costs. This is where the fun begins, where you start to see immediate results and build the momentum that will carry you toward your biggest financial goals. We're going to target two of the most common areas of financial leakage: the silent drain of recurring subscriptions and the seemingly small daily habits that add up to a fortune over time. Let's start with the modern-day financial vampire: subscriptions. We live in a subscription economy. From streaming services and music apps to meal kits, software, gym memberships, and those tempting monthly boxes of goodies, recurring charges are everywhere. They are designed to be convenient, set-it-and-forget-it expenses. But that forget-it part is precisely the danger. A single $10 monthly subscription seems harmless, but if you have 5, 10, or even 15 of them, you could be spending hundreds of dollars every month without even realizing it. It's time to conduct a subscription audit. Your first task is to hunt down every single recurring payment. Don't just rely on your memory. Go through your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements with a fine-tooth comb. Look for charges from companies like Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime, your gym, any news publications, and software services like Adobe or Microsoft Office. You will almost certainly be surprised by what you find. Maybe it's a free trial you forgot to cancel that has been billing you for 6 months, or a service you signed up for but haven't used in ages. You can also use services like Rocket Money or Trim, which connect to your accounts and automatically identify recurring expenses for you. Your goal is to create a master list of every subscription, who it's with, and exactly how much it costs you each month or year. Once you have your complete list, it's time to play a game I call Keep, Cut, or Reduce. Go down the list, one by one, and be ruthlessly honest with yourself about each service. For each subscription, ask yourself, how often did I use this in the last month? Does this service bring me significant value or joy? Could I live without it? Based on your answers, place it into one of 3 categories. The Cut category is for the easy targets. The gym membership you haven't used since January. The streaming service you only subscribed to for one show that ended months ago. The app you don't even remember downloading. Cancel these immediately. Don't procrastinate. Go to the website or app and cancel them right now. For some services that make cancellation difficult, you might have to make a phone call. It might be a little inconvenient, but that 5 minutes of hassle could save you over $100 a year for each one you eliminate. This is found money. Next is the Reduce category. These are services you use and want to keep, but you might be able to pay less for them. For streaming services, consider dropping to a lower tier plan. Are you okay with watching a few ads to save $5 or $6 a month? Over a year, that adds up. Another strategy is to share. Could you hop on a family plan with relatives or roommates for services like Spotify or YouTube Premium? This can often cut the individual cost by more than half. Also, check for annual payment options. Many services offer a significant discount, sometimes 15% or more, if you pay for a full year upfront instead of month to month. Finally, embrace the on-demand mindset. You don't need to be subscribed to 5 different video streaming services all year round. Keep 1 or 2 of your favorites, and rotate the others. Subscribe to HBO Max for a month, binge watch the shows you want to see, then cancel it and switch to Disney Plus for the next month. Be a subscriber on your own terms. The last category is Keep. These are the non-negotiables, the services you use daily that provide immense value. Maybe it's your music streaming service that you use during your commute and workouts, or a software subscription that's essential for your job. That's perfectly fine. The goal of this exercise isn't to live a life of deprivation, it's to be intentional. By cutting the waste, you free up money and can enjoy the services you truly value, guilt-free. Now, let's move on to the second type of quick win, conquering your daily spending leaks. These are the small, frequent purchases that feel insignificant in the moment, but create a massive hole in your budget over time. We're talking about the $5 specialty coffee, the $15 lunch, the vending machine snack, or the impulse buy at the checkout counter. Let's start with the most famous example, the daily coffee. Let's say you spend $5 on a latte every workday. That's $25 a week, about $100 a month, and a staggering $1,200 a year. That's enough for a vacation, a significant boost to your emergency fund, or a healthy investment into your retirement account. The solution isn't necessarily to give up good coffee. It's to change the habit. Invest in a quality coffee maker, a nice travel mug, and good beans. Making your own delicious coffee at home for a fraction of the price is a massive financial win. You can save the coffee shop visit for a weekly treat, making it feel more special and less like a routine drain on your finances. The same logic applies to the lunchtime trap. Buying lunch at work can easily cost $12 to $20 a day. That's potentially thousands of dollars a year. The most powerful weapon against this is meal prepping. Dedicate a couple of hours on a Sunday to prepare your lunches for the week. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could be as simple as making a large batch of chili, grilling some chicken to put on salads, or making sandwiches. Another great strategy is planned leftovers. When you cook dinner, intentionally make extra so you have a ready-made lunch for the next day. This not only saves you a significant amount of money but is often healthier and saves you time during your busy workday. Finally, we must address the impulse buy. Stores are expertly designed to encourage these unplanned purchases. The key is to create friction between the impulse and the purchase. The most effective tool here is the 24-hour rule. If you see something you want that isn't a planned purchase, wait 24 hours before buying it. For larger items, you can extend this to a 7-day or 30-day rule. More often than not, you'll find that the urge passes and you don't actually need the item. Another powerful tactic is to unsubscribe from retail marketing emails and unfollow brands on social media that tempt you to spend. Reduce the triggers. And when you do go shopping, especially for groceries, always go with a list. Stick to the list. This simple discipline prevents those extra items from magically appearing in your cart and inflating your bill by 20 or 30%. By slaying your phantom subscriptions and plugging these daily spending leaks, you are taking back control. You're not just saving a few dollars here and there, you're fundamentally changing your relationship with money. You're proving to yourself that you are in the driver's seat. The money you free up from these quick wins can be immediately redirected to your savings goals, giving you an incredible sense of accomplishment and motivation. In our next chapter, we're going to level up. We'll move beyond the daily habits and look at one of the biggest variable expenses in every household. Get ready for Chapter 3, The Grocery Gauntlet, How to Eat Well for Less. We'll uncover strategies to slash your food bill without resorting to a diet of instant noodles. For now, your mission is to tackle your subscriptions and identify one daily spending habit to change. Start small, build momentum, and watch your savings grow. Hello and welcome back. In our last chapter, we focused on securing quick wins by slaying subscriptions and cutting down on those small daily expenses that drain our wallets. You've already started building powerful momentum. Now, we're going to take that momentum and apply it to one of the biggest and most challenging line items in every American household's budget, the grocery bill. This is Chapter 3, The Grocery Gauntlet, How to Eat Well for Less. For many of us, food spending feels like a wild, uncontrollable beast. Prices seem to only go up, and feeding yourself and your family is a non-negotiable expense. But here's the truth, your grocery bill is one of the areas where you have the most control. With the right strategy, you can dramatically reduce your spending without sacrificing the quality or nutritional value of your food. It's not about eating nothing but beans and rice. It's about shopping smarter, not harder. The battle for your food budget is won or lost before you even set foot in the grocery store. Your success depends almost entirely on your pre-game strategy. The single most effective tool you have is meal planning. I cannot overstate this. Taking 30 minutes once a week to plan what you'll eat for the coming week is a financial game changer. It eliminates the daily 5 p.m. panic of what's for dinner, which so often leads to expensive takeout or last-minute, chaotic trips to the store. When you have a plan, you have a purpose. You know exactly what you need, which prevents you from wandering the aisles and falling victim to the store's clever marketing. Before you even start your meal plan, I want you to do something called the Pantry Challenge. Open your pantry, your refrigerator, and your freezer, and take a full inventory of what you already have. You'll likely find cans of beans, a half-used bag of pasta, some frozen vegetables, or that chicken you bought on sale last month. Your first goal is to build your meal plan around these ingredients. If you have pasta and a can of crushed tomatoes, you already have the base for a pasta night. Got frozen chicken and some rice? That's the start of a stir-fry. Shopping your own kitchen first is the #1 way to combat food waste and prevent you from buying duplicates of things you already own. It ensures that the money you've already spent on food doesn't end up in the trash. Once you know what you have, you can build your meal plan and create your master shopping list. This list is your shield and your sword in the grocery gauntlet. It should be meticulously detailed, listing only the ingredients you need to complete your meal plan for the week. A vague list that just says vegetables or snacks is an invitation for impulse buys. A specific list that says 2 bell peppers, 1 onion, and a bag of carrots keeps you focused and on mission. For an extra level of efficiency, organize your list by the store's layout: produce, meat and dairy, dry goods, frozen foods. This saves you time and prevents you from backtracking down that tempting snack aisle where the expensive, highly processed foods live. Before finalizing your list, take a quick look at your local grocery store's weekly digital flyer. If you see that ground beef or broccoli is on sale, you can adjust your meal plan to take advantage of those savings. Now that you have your plan and your list, it's time to enter the store. Your mindset here is key. You are not there to browse. You are on a mission. The first rule of in-store execution is a classic for a reason. Never shop hungry. When you're hungry, everything looks delicious, especially the pre-packaged, high-cost convenience foods near the checkout. Have a small snack before you go to keep your mind sharp and your focus on your list. Your list is your law. If it's not on the list, it doesn't go in the cart. This takes discipline, but it's what separates a $150 shopping trip from a $250 one. To become a true grocery savings expert, you need to learn to use your secret weapon, unit pricing. Look at the price tag on the shelf. Besides the total price, you'll almost always see a smaller price listed as price per ounce, price per pound, or price per unit. This is the key to making apples-to-apples comparisons. The bigger box might seem like a better deal, but the unit price will tell you the real story. By comparing the unit price, you can accurately determine if the giant family-size box of cereal is actually cheaper per ounce than the medium-sized store-brand version. This single habit can save you a tremendous amount of money over the long run. Speaking of store brands, it's time to challenge your brand loyalty. In many cases, store brand or generic products are made in the very same factories as their well-known, name-brand counterparts. They are often identical in quality but cost 20 to 40% less simply because you aren't paying for the national advertising budget. Be a scientist. Experiment by swapping out one or two of your usual brands for the store brand on each trip. Try the store brand yogurt, pasta, or canned goods. You'll likely find that you can't tell the difference in taste, but your wallet certainly will. Finally, think about where you shop in the store. Most grocery stores are designed with a similar layout. The outer ring or perimeter is where you'll find the fresh, whole foods, produce, meat, dairy, and eggs. The inner aisles are filled with the processed, packaged, and more expensive items. Try to spend most of your time on the perimeter. This will not only save you money but will also lead to a healthier diet. And when it comes to produce, buying what's in season is a huge money saver. Strawberries in the dead of winter will be expensive and less flavorful because they've been shipped from halfway across the world. But in the spring and summer, they'll be abundant, delicious, and cheap. Also, don't overlook the frozen food aisle for your fruits and vegetables. Frozen produce is picked and flash frozen at its peak ripeness, locking in nutrients. It can be significantly cheaper than fresh, especially for out-of-season items, and it lasts for months, which helps reduce food waste. This brings us to our final point. What happens after you get home? According to the USDA, the average American family of 4 throws away over $1,500 worth of food every year. Every bit of food that goes into the trash is your money going into the trash. Combat this by learning proper food storage techniques to make your fresh food last longer. Create an Eat Me First box in a prominent place in your fridge for leftovers and items that are close to their expiration date. And become best friends with your freezer. You can freeze almost anything: leftover soup, bread before it goes stale, or bananas that are getting too brown for a future smoothie. Winning the grocery gauntlet is a skill. It gets easier and more automatic with practice. Start this week by implementing just 1 or 2 of these strategies. Maybe it's making a meal plan and a list, or maybe it's finally comparing unit prices. Every dollar you save on groceries is a dollar you can put toward your most important financial goals. In our next chapter, we will continue our attack on the biggest parts of your budget. We'll move from the kitchen to the rest of the house as we explore Chapter 4, Beyond the Bill, lowering your household utilities and transit costs. You'll learn how to cut down on energy consumption and find smarter, cheaper ways to get from point A to point B. I'll see you then. Welcome back to our journey toward financial control. In the last chapter, we navigated the grocery gauntlet, learning how to plan, strategize, and execute our food shopping to save a significant amount of money. You are now armed with the skills to manage one of the largest variable expenses in your budget. Today, we're going to expand our focus from the kitchen to the entire home and even the open road. We're tackling the bills that arrive like clockwork every month, the ones we often feel powerless against. This is Chapter 4, Beyond the Bill, lowering your household utilities and transit costs. Your utility bills, electricity, water, heating, and cooling, and your transportation costs are 2 of the biggest financial commitments for most American families, right after housing. We tend to see them as fixed costs of living, but in reality, there are dozens of opportunities for savings hidden within these essential expenses. It's time to stop paying on autopilot and start making strategic choices. Let's begin inside the home by taming your energy appetite. Your electricity bill is a direct reflection of your habits. The first thing to address is the silent energy drain known as phantom load or vampire power. This is the electricity consumed by your electronics and appliances, even when they're turned off. Your television, your game console, your computer, and your phone charger are all sipping power 24/7 as long as they are plugged in. While a single device might not draw much, having dozens of them throughout your home can add up to 10% or more of your monthly electricity usage. The solution is simple. Get into the habit of unplugging chargers when they're not actively charging a device. For clusters of electronics, like your entertainment center, plug everything into a smart power strip. With the flip of one switch or even a tap on your phone, you can cut off power to all of those devices completely when they're not in use, vanquishing those energy vampires for good. Now for the budget giant, heating and cooling. For most homes, this is the single largest energy expense, but it also offers the greatest potential for savings. Your thermostat is your command center. If you still have an old manual thermostat, one of the best investments you can make is a programmable or smart thermostat. These devices allow you to automate your temperature settings. There's no reason to keep your home at a perfect 70 degrees Fahrenheit when no one is there, or when everyone is asleep under warm blankets. By programming your thermostat to be a few degrees cooler in the winter or warmer in the summer while you're at work or overnight, you can slash your heating and cooling costs by 10 to 20% without ever sacrificing comfort. Beyond the thermostat, become a draft detective. Small air leaks around windows and doors can make your heating and cooling system work much harder than it needs to. Go around your home on a windy day and feel for drafts. A few dollars spent on weather stripping for doors and caulk for window frames can pay for itself in a single season. A simple draft stopper placed at the bottom of a door is another cheap and effective fix. Also, learn to use your ceiling fans year-round. In the summer, set them to run counterclockwise to push cool air down. In the winter, reverse the direction to clockwise and run them on a low speed. This will circulate the warm air that naturally rises and gets trapped near the ceiling, helping to keep the entire room warmer. Let's not forget about lighting and water. If you haven't already, make a plan to switch your light bulbs to LEDs. LED bulbs use at least 75% less energy and last 25 times longer than incandescent bulbs. While the upfront cost is a bit higher, the long-term savings are enormous. And of course, the simplest habit of all, turn off the lights when you leave a room. For water, small changes yield big savings. Install a low-flow shower head. You likely won't even notice the difference in pressure, but you'll save gallons of hot water with every shower. Fix any leaky faucets immediately. A slow drip can waste thousands of gallons of water per year. And make it a rule to only run your dishwasher and washing machine when they are completely full. Now, let's step outside the home and rethink your ride. After housing, transportation is the second largest expense for the average American household. The first place to save is at the pump. How you drive has a direct impact on your fuel efficiency. Aggressive driving habits like rapid acceleration, speeding, and hard braking are gas guzzlers. Practice driving smoothly. Pretend there's a cup of coffee on your dashboard you don't want to spill. Also, check your tire pressure regularly. Properly inflated tires improve your gas mileage by up to 3%. And clear the clutter out of your car. An extra 100 pounds in your vehicle could reduce your miles per gallon by about 1%. Before you even get in the car, plan your route. Combine multiple errands into a single trip, a practice known as trip chaining, to minimize your total miles driven. And use an app like Gas Buddy to find the cheapest gas prices in your area before you fill up. Beyond fuel, let's talk about car insurance. This is a market where loyalty rarely pays. If you've been with the same insurer for more than 2 years, you are almost certainly overpaying. Set aside an hour once a year to shop around and get quotes from at least 3 other insurance companies. The process is easier than ever online. Also, consider raising your deductible. The deductible is the amount you pay out of pocket before your insurance kicks in. Raising it from, say, $500 to $1,000 can lower your monthly premium significantly. This is a smart move if you're a safe driver and have a healthy emergency fund that could cover the higher deductible if needed. Finally, call your current provider and ask them about discounts. You may be eligible for a good driver discount, a low mileage discount if you're working from home more, or a discount for bundling your auto and homeowners or renters insurance. These adjustments to your home energy use and transportation habits are not about making huge sacrifices. They are about being more mindful and efficient. The small, consistent changes are the ones that compound over time, leading to hundreds or even thousands of dollars in savings each year. The money you save is money you can redirect to what truly matters to you. In our next chapter, we're going to continue this theme of tackling our big monthly bills. We'll dive into the world of our digital connections. Get ready for Chapter 5, the Connectivity Challenge, slashing your cell phone and internet bills. We'll explore how to negotiate better rates and find alternatives to the big, expensive providers. I'll see you then. Hello and welcome back. We've been on a mission to take control of our finances, systematically tackling our biggest expenses from groceries to utilities to transportation. You've learned to be a more mindful and efficient consumer, and hopefully, you're already seeing the positive results in your bank account. Today, we turn our attention to 2 bills that have become as essential as electricity and water in the modern world: your cell phone and internet service. This is Chapter 5, the Connectivity Challenge, slashing your cell phone and internet bills. For most of us, these services are non-negotiable lifelines to work, school, and our social lives. Because of this, we often accept the high costs, feeling locked into long contracts with the big-name providers. But the truth is, the connectivity market is more competitive than you think, and there are incredible savings to be had if you know where to look and what to ask for. Let's start with the device that's in your pocket, your cell phone. Your monthly phone bill can easily be one of your most inflated expenses, especially for a family. The first step, as always, is to audit your actual usage. Don't guess. Log into your carrier's online portal or look at your last 3 bills and find out exactly how much data you use each month. The major carriers have spent years marketing unlimited data plans as the default, and millions of Americans are paying a premium for data they don't come close to using. If you're consistently using only 5 or 10 gigabytes of data per month but you're paying for an unlimited plan, you have identified a massive opportunity for savings. That data is your key to unlocking a better deal. Now, I want to introduce you to the cell phone industry's best-kept secret, MVNOs, which stands for Mobile Virtual Network Operators. In simple terms, these are smaller, often online-only carriers that don't own their own cell towers. Instead, they rent network space from the major players, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. Companies like Mint Mobile, Google Fi, Visible, and Consumer Cellular are all MVNOs. Because they have very low overhead, no expensive storefronts or massive advertising budgets, they can offer the exact same network coverage for a fraction of the price. We're talking about plans that can be 50% cheaper, or even less, than what you're paying now. The most common fear is that the service will be worse, but it's a myth. If an MVNO runs on Verizon's network, you get the exact same coverage and 5G speeds as a Verizon customer standing right next to you. By switching to an MVNO and choosing a plan that matches your actual data usage, a family of 4 could easily save over $1,000 a year. A huge part of breaking free from the big carriers is changing how you buy your phone. The carriers have mastered the art of trapping you with free or zero-down phone offers, which are really just expensive financing plans disguised as a deal. They lock you into their service for 2 or 3 years, making it impossible to switch to a cheaper provider. I want you to break this cycle. Stop financing phones through your carrier. Instead, buy your phones outright. This gives you the ultimate freedom to take your phone to any carrier you want, whenever you want. To make this affordable, stop chasing the latest and greatest flagship phone the day it comes out. Consider buying last year's model, which is often 95% as good for hundreds of dollars less. Or explore the world of reputable refurbished phones, which can offer incredible value. Owning your phone is a declaration of independence. Now, let's talk about your home internet bill. This can be trickier, as many of us live in areas with only 1 or 2 providers. But you still have more power than you think. First, right-size your speed. Just like with cell phone data, internet service providers, or ISPs, are masters at upselling you to gigabit speed plans that most households simply do not need. For a typical family that streams movies in 4K, has a few people working from home, and does some online gaming, a plan with 100 to 300 megabits per second is more than enough. Check your current plan and see if you're paying for a speed tier you aren't actually using. Downgrading your speed can be an instant money saver. Next, I want you to look at your bill for a line item that says equipment rental or modem lease fee. Most ISPs charge you $10 to $15 every single month just to use their modem and router. That's up to $180 a year for a piece of equipment you could own yourself. Go online, do a little research, and buy your own compatible modem and router. You can check your ISP's website for a list of approved models. A good setup might cost you between $100 and $200, but it will pay for itself in about a year and often gives you better performance and Wi-Fi coverage than the standard rental equipment. Once you have it set up, simply return the ISP's equipment and make sure that monthly fee is removed from your bill forever. Finally, you need to master the art of the annual phone call. Internet providers are notorious for luring you in with a low introductory price for the first 12 months, only to have the price skyrocket after that promotional period ends. They are banking on the fact that you won't notice or won't bother to do anything about it. Set a calendar reminder for a few weeks before your introductory rate is set to expire. Call their customer service line and tell them your bill is now too high and you are considering switching. Do a quick search for a competitor's offer in your area and mention it on the call. Be polite but firm. Ask to be transferred to the retention or loyalty department. These are the agents who are authorized to keep you as a customer, and they can almost always extend your promotional pricing for another year or offer you a new deal. This one 15-minute phone call each year can save you hundreds of dollars. Your cell phone and internet are essential tools, but you should not be overpaying for them. By auditing your usage, exploring alternative providers, owning your own equipment, and being willing to negotiate, you can take what feels like a fixed utility bill and dramatically reduce its cost. Now that we've spent several chapters mastering the art of cutting our expenses, it's time to shift our focus. Reducing costs is only one side of the financial equation. In our next chapter, we're going to explore the other side. Get ready for Chapter 6, Boosting Your Bottom Line, Smart Side Hustles and Income Streams for 2025. We'll dive into practical ways you can increase your income and accelerate your journey to financial freedom. I'll see you then. Welcome back to Smart Ways to Save Money in the US in 2025. For the past 5 chapters, we have been laser-focused on playing strong financial defense. You've learned how to build a budget, cut your daily costs, and strategically reduce your spending on major expenses like groceries, utilities, and monthly bills. These are the foundational skills for building wealth. But cutting expenses is only half of the equation. No matter how much you save, you can only cut your budget so far. To truly supercharge your financial progress, you need to play offense. It's time to focus on the other side of the ledger, your income. This is Chapter 6, Boosting Your Bottom Line, Smart Side Hustles and Income Streams for 2025. This isn't about working yourself to the point of exhaustion. It's about finding smart, flexible, and even enjoyable ways to generate extra cash that can be used to annihilate your debt, build your investments, or save for a major life goal in a fraction of the time. Before we dive into the specific ideas, let's establish the right mindset. The most successful side hustles are born from a clear purpose. So, ask yourself, why do you want to earn more money? Is it to finally pay off that stubborn credit card balance? Is it to build a $10,000 emergency fund? Is it to save for a down payment on a house? Give your extra income a specific job to do. This why will be your motivation on the days when you feel tired or uninspired. Also, remember that the goal is to leverage your time and skills, not just to add another grueling job to your life. The beauty of the modern economy is the sheer variety of options available, allowing you to find something that fits your schedule, personality, and talents. We can group these opportunities into 3 main categories: the gig economy, the skills-based hustle, and the semi-passive hustle. Let's start with the first category, the gig economy. This is all about trading your time for money in a highly flexible way. These are often the fastest and easiest hustles to start. If you have a car and some free time, you can sign up for rideshare services like Uber or Lyft, or delivery services like DoorDash and Instacart. The biggest advantage here is the absolute flexibility. You can turn the app on when you have a couple of free hours and turn it off when you're done. There's no boss and no set schedule. If you're handy or just willing to do physical tasks, platforms like TaskRabbit connect you with people in your area who need help with anything from assembling furniture and mounting a TV to moving boxes or doing yard work. And if you're an animal lover, you can use apps like Rover or Wag to get paid for dog walking or pet sitting. These gig economy jobs are perfect for quickly generating cash to throw at a specific financial goal. Our second category is the skills-based hustle. This is where you monetize a talent or skill you already possess. This is often more fulfilling and can pay a higher hourly rate than gig work. Think about what you're good at. Are you an excellent writer? You can offer your services as a freelance writer, editor, or proofreader on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. Businesses are always looking for people to write blog posts, website copy, and marketing emails. Are you highly organized and good with administrative tasks? You could become a virtual assistant, or VA, helping busy professionals manage their calendars, answer emails, or run their social media accounts. If you have creative skills in graphic design, video editing, or web development, your talents are in high demand. This category also includes teaching and tutoring. If you have expertise in a school subject like math or science, you can tutor students online. Or perhaps you have a non-academic skill you can teach. Can you play the guitar? Teach a beginner. Are you a great baker? Offer a local cake decorating class. You can also teach English online to students around the world. The beauty of a skills-based hustle is that you're not just earning money, you're building a portfolio and a reputation that can lead to even more significant opportunities down the road. You're leveraging your unique abilities, which is incredibly empowering. Our third and final category is the semi-passive hustle. Now, let me be very clear. There is no such thing as truly passive income. These streams require significant work upfront to create, but they have the potential to earn you money over time with less active involvement. Think of it as building a small machine that works for you. For example, if you have knowledge in a specific area, you could write and sell a short ebook or create a set of digital templates, like budget spreadsheets, resume designs, or social media graphics, and sell them on a platform like Gumroad or Etsy. You create the product once, and it can be sold over and over again. If you're crafty, you can sell your physical creations on Etsy. Or you could get into print-on-demand services, where you create a design for a t-shirt or a coffee mug, upload it to a site like Redbubble, and they handle all the printing and shipping for you, giving you a cut of every sale. You don't have to manage any inventory. These hustles take time to get going, but they can provide a trickle of income that is incredibly satisfying because it's not directly tied to the hours you work. So, how do you get started? First, identify your primary asset. Is it your free time? The gig economy might be a great fit. Is it a specific skill? Look into freelancing or teaching. Is it a body of knowledge? Maybe a digital product is the way to go. Second, start small. Don't try to launch a global empire overnight. Dedicate just 5 to 10 hours a week to your chosen hustle. Your initial goal is simply to make your first dollar. That first payment proves the concept and builds incredible momentum. And finally, remember the logistics. When you earn money from a side hustle, you're an independent contractor. Make sure you track all of your income and any related expenses. It's a wise practice to set aside about 25 to 30% of every payment you receive for future taxes. Boosting your income is the ultimate financial accelerator. It works in perfect harmony with the smart spending habits we've already discussed. By playing both offense and defense, you take complete control of your financial destiny. Now that we've covered how to reduce our spending and how to increase our income, we're creating a surplus of cash each month. What is the best way to deploy that cash to improve our financial health? For millions of Americans, the biggest obstacle is debt. In our next chapter, we will address this head-on. Get ready for Chapter 7, the Debt Demolition Plan, Strategies to Become Debt-Free Faster. We will explore the most effective methods for paying off your debts and finally breaking free. I'll see you then. Hello and welcome back. Over the last 6 chapters, we have systematically rebuilt your financial foundation. You've mastered your budget, cut your expenses, and even started to play offense by exploring ways to boost your income. You are now creating a positive cash flow each month, a gap between what you earn and what you spend. This surplus is your most powerful wealth-building tool. And now, we must give it its first, most urgent mission, to eliminate the single biggest obstacle to your financial freedom. This is Chapter 7, the Debt Demolition Plan, Strategies to Become Debt-Free Faster. Debt, particularly high-interest consumer debt like credit cards and personal loans, is a constant drain on your resources and your peace of mind. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water while there are holes in the bottom. Today, we're going to patch those holes for good with a focused, aggressive, and proven plan. Before you launch an all-out assault on your debt, there are 2 crucial prerequisites you must put in place. First, and most importantly, you have to stop the bleeding. You cannot get out of debt if you are still actively accumulating it. This means making a firm commitment, starting today, to not take on any new consumer debt. Put the credit cards away. Remove them from your wallet and your online shopping accounts. Some people find it helpful to literally put them in a container of water in the freezer. Whatever it takes, the habit of reaching for credit for non-emergency purchases has to stop. From now on, you operate on the money you actually have. The second prerequisite is to build a starter emergency fund. I know this sounds counterintuitive. You might be thinking, shouldn't every single extra dollar go toward my high-interest debt? The answer is no, and here's why. Life is unpredictable. Your car will break down, a pipe will leak, or you'll have an unexpected medical bill. Without a small cash buffer, these minor emergencies will force you to reach for a credit card, immediately undoing your progress and killing your motivation. Your first goal is to save up a quick $1,000 and put it in a separate savings account. This is not an investment, it is insurance against life. This small fund acts as a firewall between you and new debt, allowing you to stick to your debt demolition plan without interruption. Once your starter emergency fund is in place, it's time to choose your battle plan. There are 2 primary, highly effective strategies for paying off debt: the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. The best method depends on your personality. Let's start with the first and most popular method, the debt snowball. Here's how it works. You list all of your debts, excluding your mortgage, from the smallest balance to the largest, regardless of the interest rate. You continue to make the minimum required payment on all of your debts. Then, you take every extra dollar you have, the money you freed up from your budget, your side hustle income, and throw it at the debt with the smallest balance. You attack it with everything you've got until it's completely paid off. The power of the debt snowball is not in the math, it's in the psychology. By targeting the smallest debt first, you are likely to get a quick win. Paying off that first account, regardless of the size, feels incredible. It proves to you that you can do this. It builds momentum and motivation. Once that smallest debt is gone, you take the entire amount you were paying on it, the original minimum payment plus all the extra money, and you roll it into the payment for the next smallest debt. Your payment grows like a snowball rolling downhill, and you use it to knock out the next debt, and then the next, gaining speed and power along the way. The second method is the debt avalanche. This strategy appeals to the mathematicians and optimizers. Here, you list your debts not by balance, but by interest rate, from the highest APR to the lowest. Again, you make minimum payments on everything, but you throw all of your extra cash at the debt with the highest interest rate, which is most likely a credit card. From a purely financial standpoint, this is the superior method. By eliminating the debt that's costing you the most in interest first, you will pay less money overall and get out of debt slightly faster. The potential downside is that your highest interest debt might also have a very large balance, meaning it could take a long time to pay it off. This can be discouraging for some, as it lacks the quick wins of the snowball method. So, which plan is right for you? It's a choice between motivation and math. If you need to see progress quickly to stay in the fight, the debt snowball is your best bet. If you are highly disciplined and motivated by knowing you're using the most mathematically efficient plan possible, the debt avalanche is the way to go. But let me be clear, the absolute best plan is the one you will actually stick with. Both methods work incredibly well. Choose one and commit to it. As you work your plan, there are a few ways to supercharge your progress. Look for any found money or windfalls. If you get a tax refund, a bonus from work, or a cash gift, resist the temptation to spend it. Instead, use it as a battering ram against the principal of the debt you're currently targeting. This can shave months or even years off your repayment timeline. You might also consider a 0% APR balance transfer credit card. This allows you to move a high-interest balance to a new card that charges no interest for a promotional period, often 12 to 18 months. This can be a powerful tool, but it comes with a serious warning. You must have a plan to pay off the balance before the promotional period ends, and you cannot use the card for any new purchases. Becoming debt-free is one of the most liberating financial achievements you will ever experience. It means your income finally belongs to you, not to the banks. It frees up your most powerful wealth-building tool, your income, to build the future you want. Once the debt is gone, what's next? You've built the habit of saving and have a significant cash flow. It's time to build a true financial fortress. In our next chapter, we'll do just that. Get ready for Chapter 8, Building Your Financial Fortress, the importance of a full emergency fund. We'll talk about how to protect yourself and your family from any financial storm life might throw your way. I'll see you then. Hello and welcome back to Smart Ways to Save Money in the US in 2025. You have come so far on this journey. You've taken control of your spending, you've started boosting your income, and you have a clear, actionable plan to demolish your debt. You are building incredible momentum. In our last chapter, we talked about the importance of a $1,000 starter emergency fund to act as a buffer against small, unexpected expenses while you pay off debt. Today, we're going to graduate from that small buffer to a full-fledged financial fortress. This is the step that separates financial fragility from true financial security. This is Chapter 8, Building Your Financial Fortress, the importance of a full emergency fund. This is your ultimate insurance policy against the chaos of life. This is the money that will allow you to weather any storm, a job loss, a medical crisis, a major home repair, without derailing your life and without going back into debt. So, what exactly is a fully funded emergency fund? Let's first be clear about what it is not. It is not an investment. It is not a vacation fund. It is not a down payment for a house, and it is not for holiday shopping. Your emergency fund has one job and one job only, to protect you and your family from a true financial emergency. Think of it as the high walls and deep moat around the financial castle you are building. It defends everything else you will accomplish, your debt-free status, your retirement savings, your future investments, from the unexpected attacks of life. A true emergency is an event that is unforeseen and has the potential to devastate you financially. The most common examples are a sudden job loss, a significant medical or dental issue not covered by insurance, or a critical and expensive home or car repair, like a busted transmission or a leaking roof. In these moments, your emergency fund is what allows you to handle the crisis with cash, giving you peace of mind instead of a panic attack. This brings us to the most important question: how much is enough? How much do you need to have in your financial fortress? The standard, time-tested rule of thumb is to save 3 to 6 months' worth of essential living expenses. Now, the key phrase here is essential living expenses. This is not 3 to 6 months of your income. This is the bare-bones amount of money you would need to keep your life afloat if your income suddenly disappeared. To calculate this number, sit down and add up what you absolutely need to spend each month to survive. This includes what I call the 4 walls: food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. So, you'll add up your mortgage or rent payment, your average utility bills, a stripped-down grocery budget, your car payment and gas or public transit costs, and any other absolute necessities like insurance premiums. What you will not include in this calculation is any discretionary spending. You'll leave out the cost of dining out, entertainment, streaming subscriptions, new clothes, or vacation savings. You also won't include the extra debt payments you are making in your debt snowball or avalanche. We are calculating your leanest, most basic survival budget. Once you have that monthly number, you multiply it by 3 and by 6 to get your range. So, should you save for 3 months or 6? This depends on your personal situation and risk tolerance. You should aim for the lower end of the range, 3 months, if your financial life is relatively stable. For example, if you are in a dual-income household where both partners have secure jobs, or if you work in a very high-demand field where you could find a new job quickly. You should aim for the higher end, 6 months, if your situation is less predictable. This applies if you are the sole provider for your family, if you are self-employed or a freelancer with a variable income, or if you work in a volatile industry or a job that is commission-based. The ultimate goal is to save an amount that lets you sleep soundly at night. For some, that might even be 8 or 12 months of expenses. The number is personal, but it should never be less than 3. Once you have your number, the next critical question is where you should keep this money. The location of your emergency fund is just as important as the amount. It must meet 3 specific criteria. It must be liquid, it must be safe, and it must be separate. Liquid means you can access the money quickly and easily, within a day or 2, without paying any fees or penalties. Safe means the principal value will never go down. This money cannot be exposed to market risk. And separate means it needs to be in an account that is not your daily checking account. This separation reduces the temptation to dip into it for non-emergencies. Given these criteria, the absolute best place for your emergency fund is in a high-yield savings account, or HYSA. These are typically offered by online banks, and because they don't have the overhead of physical branches, they can offer interest rates that are often 10 to 20 times higher than a standard savings account at a big, traditional bank. Your money is still FDIC insured, so it's perfectly safe. It is completely liquid, as you can transfer it to your checking account in a day or 2. And by its nature, it is separate. Another good option is a money market account, which offers similar features. Here's where you should never keep your emergency fund. Do not invest it in the stock market. While stocks are great for long-term growth, they are far too volatile for emergency savings. Imagine a scenario where the market crashes, you lose your job, and your emergency fund is suddenly worth 30% less right when you need it most. Also, do not lock it away in a certificate of deposit or CD. The money is tied up for a specific term, and you'll face penalties for early withdrawal. Finally, avoid keeping the bulk of it in cash at home where it is vulnerable to theft or disaster and earns 0 interest. Building your fully funded emergency fund is the final, critical step of establishing your financial defense. It is the moment you graduate from constantly being one crisis away from disaster to having a foundation of true security. This fortress will give you the confidence and the freedom to start building serious, long-term wealth. And that is exactly where we are headed next. With your debt gone and your emergency fund in place, it's time to make your money start working for you. In our next chapter, we will finally dive into the world of investing. Get ready for Chapter 9, Playing the Long Game, an introduction to investing for retirement. We'll demystify the stock market and show you how to start building a nest egg for your future. I'll see you then. Hello and welcome back. If you have been following the steps in this series, I want you to take a moment and acknowledge the incredible position you are in. You have a budget that works. You've slashed your expenses. You have a plan to eliminate your debt, and you have built a financial fortress with a fully funded emergency fund. You have moved from a position of defense to one of profound security. You have now earned the right to build serious, long-term wealth. It's time to put your money to work for you. This is Chapter 9, Playing the Long Game, an introduction to investing for retirement. For many, the word investing can be intimidating, conjuring up images of complicated charts and Wall Street traders. I want you to discard that image. For our purposes, investing is not about picking hot stocks or timing the market. It is the simple, proven, and accessible process of buying and holding assets that grow over time, allowing you to build a future where you are no longer dependent on a paycheck to live. Before we discuss where and what to invest in, we must understand the single most powerful force in finance, the magic of compound growth. Albert Einstein is often quoted as having called it the 8th wonder of the world. Compounding is the process where your investment returns start earning their own returns. It's a chain reaction. Think of it this way. In your first year of investing, your money earns a return. The next year, you earn a return not only on your original money but also on the return from the first year. Your money begins to make its own money, and then that money starts making its own money. This creates a snowball effect that, over long periods, is almost unbelievable. This is why the single most important factor in your investment success is not how much money you start with, but time. The earlier you start, the more time you give this powerful force to work its magic. Someone who starts investing small amounts in their 20s can easily end up with more money than someone who invests much larger amounts starting in their 40s. So, where do you begin this journey? For most Americans, the path to retirement investing starts with two primary types of accounts, the 401k and the Roth IRA. Let's start with the one you get at work, the 401k. A 401k, or a 403b if you work for a nonprofit, is a retirement savings plan sponsored by your employer. The money you contribute is typically taken directly from your paycheck before taxes are calculated. This pre-tax contribution lowers your taxable income for the year, which is a nice immediate benefit. But the most important feature of a 401k is the employer match. This is, without a doubt, the single best investment deal you will ever get in your entire life. Many companies will match your contributions up to a certain percentage of your salary. For example, a common match is 100% of your contributions up to the first 5% of your salary. This means if you contribute 5% of your pay, your company puts in another 5% for free. It is an instant, guaranteed 100% return on your money. Your absolute first priority in investing, before you do anything else, is to contribute enough to your 401k to get the full employer match. Not doing so is literally turning down free money. The second powerhouse account is the Roth IRA. An IRA is an individual retirement account that you open on your own, completely separate from your employer. You can open one at any major brokerage firm like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. The magic of the Roth IRA is how it's taxed. Unlike a 401k, your contributions to a Roth IRA are made with after-tax dollars, the money left in your paycheck after taxes have already been taken out. This means you don't get a tax break today. But here's the incredible trade-off. All of the growth your money generates over the decades, and all of the withdrawals you make in retirement, are 100% tax-free. This is a phenomenal advantage, especially if you expect to be in a higher tax bracket in the future. The IRS sets annual limits on how much you can contribute, and there are income limits to be eligible, but for most people, it's an essential wealth-building tool. So, what is the right order of operations? The recommended path for most people is simple. Step 1. Contribute to your workplace 401k just enough to get the full employer match. Step 2. After you've secured the match, shift your focus and contribute the maximum amount allowed to your Roth IRA. Step 3. If you are able to max out your Roth IRA and still have money left over to invest, you then go back to your 401k and increase your contributions there until you hit its annual limit. As a general goal, you should aim to be investing a total of at least 15% of your gross income for retirement. Now for the final piece of the puzzle, what should you actually invest in inside these accounts? The answer, thankfully, is simple. You should not be trying to pick individual stocks. Instead, you should invest in low-cost, broad market index funds or ETFs. An index fund is a type of mutual fund that doesn't try to beat the market. It simply aims to match the performance of a major market index, like the S&P 500, which is made up of 500 of the largest US companies. When you buy a share of an S&P 500 index fund, you are instantly buying a tiny piece of all 500 of those companies. This gives you incredible diversification, which dramatically reduces your risk. You're no longer betting on the success of a single company. You're betting on the long-term growth of the American economy as a whole. Because these funds are passively managed, they have incredibly low fees, known as expense ratios, which means more of your money stays working for you. A fantastic set-it-and-forget-it option, especially within a 401k, is a target date fund. You simply pick the fund with the year closest to your expected retirement date, and it automatically manages your investments for you, becoming more conservative as you get older. Investing for retirement doesn't need to be complex. Your job is to be consistent. Automate your contributions from every paycheck and let the power of compounding and the growth of the global economy do the heavy lifting for you. Of course, the journey of a long-term investor is not always a smooth, straight line. The market goes up and the market goes down. Handling the psychology of these fluctuations is key to your success. In our next chapter, we will address this directly. Get ready for Chapter 10, Staying the Course, the psychology of smart investing and avoiding common mistakes. Welcome back. In our last chapter, we opened the door to the world of long-term investing. You learned about the incredible power of compound growth, the essential retirement accounts like the 401k and the Roth IRA, and the simple wisdom of investing in low-cost, broad market index funds. Understanding these mechanics is a huge and important step. But knowing the rules of the game and actually winning the game are two different things. The greatest challenge for any long-term investor is not picking the right funds or understanding the tax code. It's mastering their own psychology. Your behavior, not your brilliance, will determine your success. This is Chapter 10, Staying the Course, the psychology of smart investing and avoiding common mistakes. Today, we're building your mental toolkit to help you navigate the emotional roller coaster of the market and protect you from your own worst instincts. Every investor must battle two powerful and destructive emotions, fear and greed. These two forces are responsible for almost all major investing mistakes. Let's start with fear. Imagine this scenario. You've been diligently investing for a few years, and your account has grown nicely. Then, a crisis hits. The stock market plunges 20 or 30% in a matter of weeks. Every news channel is flashing red with headlines of market crash. You log into your account, and that number you were so proud of is now significantly smaller. The primal, gut-wrenching instinct is to sell. Your brain screams at you to get out before it goes to zero, to stop the bleeding, to make the pain stop. This, right here, is the moment that separates successful investors from unsuccessful ones. Selling in a panic is the single worst mistake you can make. It takes a temporary, on-paper loss and turns it into a permanent, real-life loss. Even worse, it guarantees that you will miss the eventual recovery. Think of it this way: a market downturn is a sale. The world's best companies are temporarily 30% off. As a long-term buyer, this is an opportunity, not a catastrophe. The other great enemy is greed. Greed often shows up as FOMO, the fear of missing out. This happens during roaring bull markets when it feels like everyone is getting rich overnight. You hear stories about a friend who tripled their money on a hot tech stock or a cryptocurrency. You start to look at your own sensible, diversified index funds and think they're boring. Greed tempts you to abandon your sound strategy and chase these speculative returns. It pushes you to gamble, not invest. This often leads to buying an asset at the very peak of its hype, right before it comes crashing back down to earth. The truth is that for 99% of us, boring is beautiful when it comes to investing. Your goal isn't to hit a home run on a single stock. It's to consistently get on base, year after year, by owning a piece of the entire market. So how do we defeat these enemies? We do it by creating a system that minimizes emotion and relies on discipline. The first and most powerful principle is to automate everything. This is the ultimate behavioral hack. Set up your 401k contributions to come directly out of your paycheck. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your Roth IRA every single month. By putting your investing on autopilot, you remove the decision-making process. The money is invested whether the market is up or down. You're not tempted to skip a month because you're scared, or to invest more because you're greedy. You just keep buying, consistently. This leads directly to our second principle: embrace dollar-cost averaging. This is a natural benefit of automating your investments. When you invest the same fixed amount of money at regular intervals, say $500 every month, you automatically buy more shares when the price is low and fewer shares when the price is high. Over time, this smooths out your average cost per share and completely removes the impossible burden of trying to time the market. It ensures that you are a disciplined buyer during those market sales we talked about, even when your emotions are telling you to run away. Our third principle is simple but crucial: don't look at your account too often. Checking your retirement portfolio every day is like weighing yourself every hour while on a diet. It's counterproductive and will drive you crazy. The daily and weekly fluctuations of the market are just noise. They are completely irrelevant to your 30 or 40-year investment horizon. For most people, checking in on your accounts once a quarter, or even just twice a year, is more than enough. Your goal is simply to confirm that your contributions are going in as planned and that your overall strategy is still sound. The less you look, the less you'll be tempted to tinker and make emotional mistakes. And finally, the fourth principle is to have a written plan. It doesn't need to be complicated. It can be as simple as, I will invest 15% of my gross income into a target date fund in my retirement accounts every month, no matter what. This simple statement is your constitution. In times of market turmoil, when fear or greed is knocking at your door, you can pull out this document that your rational, calm self created. It serves as a powerful reminder to stay the course and trust the plan. Trying to time the market, selling before a crash and buying back in at the bottom, is a fool's errand. To succeed, you have to be right twice. You have to know the perfect time to sell, and the perfect time to get back in. The data is clear. Even the most brilliant professional investors cannot do this consistently. Missing just the 10 best days in the stock market over a 20-year period can cut your total returns by more than half. And those best days often happen immediately after the worst days. The secret is not timing the market. It is time in the market. Your greatest adversary in your investing journey will not be the economy or the stock market. It will be the person you see in the mirror. By automating your strategy and understanding these core psychological principles, you can get out of your own way and let your money grow for decades to come. Now that you have a solid plan for your retirement, what about other major financial goals? In our next chapter, we'll expand our view. Get ready for Chapter 11, Beyond Retirement, Saving for Life's Big Goals, College, Homes, and more. Welcome back. You have now established the cornerstones of a truly powerful financial life. Your spending is under control, your debts are disappearing, your financial fortress is fully funded, and your retirement investing is on autopilot. You are playing the long game. But life isn't just about saving for a distant future in your 60s. It's also about the exciting milestones that happen along the way. Buying your first home, funding an education, starting a business, or traveling the world. These major life goals are what make the journey rich and meaningful. So, how do we plan for them? That's what we'll cover today. This is Chapter 11, Beyond Retirement, Saving for Life's Big Goals, College, Homes, and more. The key to successfully saving for any goal is understanding one critical concept: your time horizon. How you save for a vacation next year is completely different from how you save for a house in 7 years, which is different still from how you save for retirement in 30 years. Let's break this down into a simple framework. Think of your goals as falling into one of 3 time-based categories. First, we have short-term goals, which are 1 to 3 years away. This could be a European vacation, a wedding, or a new-to-you car. For these goals, your strategy has one priority: safety. The money you are saving must be there when you need it. You cannot afford to risk it in the stock market, because a sudden downturn could slash your savings right before your trip or your big day. The best tool for these goals is the same one we used for our emergency fund, a high-yield savings account. The key is to open a separate account for each goal and give it a nickname, like Italy Trip Fund. This keeps the money mentally and digitally separate from your emergency fund and your regular spending, making it much easier to track your progress and less tempting to spend. Next, we have our long-term goals, which are 15 years or more away. The primary example of this is retirement. As we discussed in Chapter 9, your strategy here is all about growth. Because you have decades before you need the money, you can and should take on the risks of the stock market to maximize the power of compound growth. The tools for this are your tax-advantaged retirement accounts like your 401k and Roth IRA, filled with low-cost index funds. But what about the goals in the middle? This is where most of life's biggest milestones live. These are your medium-term goals, which are roughly 5 to 15 years out. The most common examples are saving for a down payment on a house or funding a child's college education. For these goals, your strategy is a hybrid approach. You have enough time to take on some calculated market risk to grow your money faster than inflation, but not so much time that you can afford a massive loss right before you need the cash. Let's tackle the classic medium-term goal, saving for a house down payment. Your time horizon here is likely 5 to 10 years. The challenge is that a down payment is a large, specific sum of money. Keeping it all in a savings account for 10 years means you'll lose purchasing power to inflation. But putting it all in the stock market is too risky. So, we use a balanced approach. You would open a regular, taxable brokerage account. This is separate from your retirement accounts. For your investment choice, instead of an aggressive 100% stock index fund, you would choose a more conservative balanced fund, which holds a mix of, say, 60% stocks and 40% bonds. This blend still allows for growth, but cushions the blow during market downturns. The most important part of this strategy is the de-risking plan. As your goal gets closer, you need to reduce your risk. When your target home buying date is about 5 years away, you should begin to systematically sell off a portion of your investments each year and move that money into the safety of a high-yield savings account. By the time you are 1 year away from starting your house hunt, 100% of your down payment fund should be out of the market and safely in cash. This ensures that a sudden market crash right before you plan to buy doesn't force you to delay your dream. Now let's look at the other major medium-term goal for many families: saving for college. Thankfully, the US government has created a powerful tool specifically for this purpose: the 529 College Savings Plan. A 529 plan is a tax-advantaged investment account designed to encourage saving for future education costs. The benefits are incredible. In many states, your contributions are deductible on your state income tax, giving you an immediate tax break. Then, the money in the account grows completely tax-deferred. Finally, when you withdraw the money and use it for qualified education expenses, like tuition, fees, room and board, or books, the withdrawals are 100% tax-free. This triple tax advantage makes the 529 plan one of the best investment vehicles available, period. Most 529 plans are incredibly user-friendly. They offer age-based portfolios that work just like the target date funds we discussed for retirement. You choose the portfolio that corresponds to your child's age, and the fund automatically and gradually shifts from a growth-focused strategy to a safer, more conservative one as your child gets closer to their freshman year of college. This handles the de-risking process for you. You don't have to live in a certain state to use its plan, and the money can be used at nearly any accredited college, university, or vocational school in the country. Recent rule changes have also added flexibility, allowing you to roll over a portion of unused funds into a Roth IRA for the beneficiary, which helps alleviate the fear of oversaving if your child decides not to go to college. Your financial life is a collection of goals with different timelines. By matching your savings and investing strategy to your time horizon, you can confidently plan for the future, both near and far. Now that you have a plan to save for your goals, it's critical that you protect what you are building from catastrophic risk. In our next chapter, we'll dive into the world of personal insurance. Get ready for Chapter 12, Beyond the Emergency Fund, Understanding Your Insurance Needs. Welcome back to Smart Ways to Save Money in the US in 2025. You have spent the last several chapters meticulously building a strong financial house. You've laid the foundation with a budget, built the walls by paying off debt and saving for your goals, and started constructing the roof with your retirement investments. Now, it's time to install the security system. It's time to protect everything you've worked so hard to build from the catastrophic risks that can appear out of nowhere. This is Chapter 12, Beyond the Emergency Fund, Understanding Your Insurance Needs. Insurance is a topic that can feel complicated and, frankly, a little boring. But understanding it is an absolute non-negotiable for anyone serious about their financial well-being. The fundamental purpose of insurance is risk transfer. You pay a small, predictable premium to an insurance company in exchange for them taking on a large, unpredictable, and potentially devastating financial risk. Your emergency fund is for life's expensive inconveniences. Insurance is for life's potential catastrophes. Let's start with the two types of insurance that are practically or legally required for most of us: health and auto insurance. The goal here isn't just to have coverage, but to understand it. Health insurance is arguably the most important insurance you will ever own. In the United States, a single major medical event is the #1 cause of personal bankruptcy. It is an absolute necessity. You need to understand 3 key terms in your policy: your deductible, which is the amount you must pay out of pocket before your insurance starts paying; your coinsurance, which is the percentage of the bill you're responsible for after the deductible is met; and most importantly, your out-of-pocket maximum. This last number is your financial firewall. It is the absolute most you will have to pay for covered medical expenses in a given year. Knowing this number can provide immense peace of mind. Every year during open enrollment, take the time to actively review your plan. Don't just let it auto-renew. As your life changes, your health insurance needs might change too. For auto insurance, every driver knows they need liability coverage, but simply meeting the state minimum is one of the riskiest financial decisions you can make. Those minimums are often woefully inadequate. A single serious accident can easily result in damages and medical bills that far exceed those limits, leaving you personally on the hook for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's crucial to have much higher liability limits. Beyond liability, review your deductibles for collision and comprehensive coverage. If you now have a fully funded emergency fund, consider raising your deductible from, say, $500 to $1,000. This can lower your monthly premium, as you are telling the insurance company you're willing to take on a bit more of the initial risk. Now let's talk about protecting your most valuable assets, your ability to earn an income, and the financial security of your loved ones. This is where life and disability insurance come in. Let's start with life insurance. The question is simple: does anyone in the world financially depend on you? This could be a spouse, children, or even aging parents. If the answer is yes, you need life insurance. If the answer is no, you probably don't. For the vast majority of people, the only kind of life insurance you should ever buy is term life insurance. It is simple, pure, and incredibly affordable. You buy a specific amount of coverage for a specific term, like 20 or 30 years. If you pass away during that term, your beneficiaries receive a tax-free death benefit. You will hear salespeople talk about other products like whole life insurance, but these are complex, high-commission products that bundle a poor investment with your insurance. Stick to the simple rule: buy term, and invest the difference yourself. A good rule of thumb is to get a policy worth 10 to 12 times your annual income. Even more important than life insurance, however, is disability insurance. Statistically, you are far more likely to become seriously disabled during your working years than you are to die. Disability insurance is paycheck insurance. If you become ill or injured and are unable to work for an extended period, this insurance will replace a percentage of your income, allowing you to continue paying your bills and funding your life. This is the insurance that protects you and your family while you are still alive. Check with your employer to see if you have a group long-term disability policy. If you do, that's great, but review the coverage to see if it's enough. If you don't have coverage, or if it's insufficient, getting a private long-term disability policy should be a top priority. Finally, let's talk about protecting your stuff. If you own a home, you are required to have homeowners insurance. It covers the physical structure of your house, your personal belongings inside it, and crucially, provides liability coverage in case someone is injured on your property. But what if you rent? This is one of the most overlooked areas of personal finance. You need renter's insurance. I cannot stress this enough. Your landlord's insurance covers the building, not your personal belongings. If there were a fire, everything you own, your furniture, your clothes, your computer, would be gone, and you would receive nothing. Renter's insurance protects all of your stuff from theft, fire, and other disasters, and it also provides liability coverage. It is shockingly inexpensive, often costing as little as $10 to $20 a month, and it is absolutely essential for every single renter. Insurance isn't the most exciting part of a financial plan, but it is the bedrock upon which everything else is built. It's the safety net that allows you to confidently invest, save, and build for the future, knowing that one unlucky event won't send you all the way back to square one. Take the time this week to pull out your policies, understand what you have, and identify any gaps in your protection. Now that we have covered the technical and strategic aspects of managing your money, it's time to look inward. A successful financial life isn't just about numbers, it's about purpose. In our next chapter, we'll explore this connection. Get ready for Chapter 13, Mind Over Money, Aligning Your Spending with Your Values. Welcome back. Over the course of this series, you have become the architect of a formidable financial structure. You have the blueprints of a budget, the foundation of an emergency fund, the reinforced walls of your insurance policies, and the framework of a long-term investment plan. You have mastered the mechanics, the tactics, and the strategies. You have the how. But today, we're going to ask a more important question: why? What is all this for? The goal of personal finance is not to die with the biggest pile of money. The goal is to use money as a tool to build a life that is rich, meaningful, and authentically yours. Today, we move beyond the numbers on a spreadsheet and into the heart of the matter. This is Chapter 13, Mind Over Money, Aligning Your Spending with Your Values. This is the step where you transform your budget from a restrictive document into a blueprint for your ideal life. For many of us, our spending is a collection of unconscious habits and reactions to advertising. We spend money on things we think we're supposed to want, or on small, mindless purchases that provide a fleeting moment of satisfaction but no lasting joy. Values-based spending is the antidote. The concept is simple. You figure out what you truly value in life, and then you align your financial resources to get more of that, and less of everything else. It's about moving from a mindset of restriction to one of powerful, conscious intention. The first step is to discover what I call your money dials. Everyone has a few categories of spending that, for them, provide a disproportionate amount of happiness. For one person, it might be travel and experiencing new cultures. For another, it might be health and wellness, like high-quality organic food and a great gym membership. For someone else, it could be generosity, the ability to give freely to causes they care about or to help friends and family. These are the things you want to be able to turn the dial up on. The key is to figure out what those dials are for you, not for your neighbor or for the people you see on social media. I want you to try a simple exercise. First, I want you to look back at your last few bank or credit card statements. Go through them line by line. With a green highlighter, I want you to mark every single purchase that brought you genuine, lasting joy. Maybe it was the plane tickets for a trip to see family, a fantastic dinner out with your best friend, or the fee for a class where you learned a new skill. Now, with a red pen, I want you to cross out every purchase you either regret or barely even remember making. It might be the mediocre takeout you ordered because you were tired, the subscription service you haven't used in months, or the impulse clothing purchase that's still sitting in your closet with the tags on. This exercise will give you a crystal clear picture of your current spending reality versus your values. Now, from that list of green purchases, try to identify 3 to 5 core values. These might be things like experiences, relationships, health, learning, convenience, or security. This isn't about what you think your values should be, it's about what your joyful spending tells you they are. Once you've identified your money dials, you can begin the art of conscious spending. This is where the magic happens. You now have permission to spend lavishly and guilt-free on the things that align with your highest values. If you've decided that travel and experiences are your #1 priority, you should feel zero guilt about booking a major trip, as long as your essential savings and investment goals are being met first. That is the point of this whole system. The money left over after you've paid yourself first is meant to be used to maximize your life satisfaction. The flip side of this is that you must be absolutely ruthless in cutting costs on the things you've identified that you do not value. This is where the real power lies. If you don't care about having the latest and greatest car, then drive your reliable 10-year-old car with pride, knowing that the hundreds of dollars you're saving every month by not having a car payment are going directly toward your travel fund. If you don't value designer clothes, Then embrace thrift stores and affordable basics, and channel that money toward your health and wellness goals. This isn't about deprivation. It's about making conscious, deliberate trade-offs. You can afford anything, but you can't afford everything. Values-based spending ensures you can afford what matters most to you. This approach fundamentally changes your entire relationship with money. Traditional budgeting often comes from a scarcity mindset. It's a list of no's. No, you can't have the fancy coffee. No, you can't go on that trip. It focuses on what you're giving up, which can feel constricting and often leads to rebellion, much like a crash diet. Values-based spending, on the other hand, cultivates an abundance mindset. It is a list of yes. Yes, you can afford that amazing trip because you've chosen not to spend on things you don't care about. It turns your budget from a cage into a key. It's about recognizing that you have enough money for the life you want, once you clear away the clutter of spending on things that don't serve you. This eliminates guilt and replaces it with empowerment and joy. Your money is a powerful tool. It can be used mindlessly to accumulate stuff, or it can be used intentionally to design a life that is a true reflection of who you are and what you hold dear. Your challenge from this chapter is to do the values exercise. Identify your top 3 money dials, and then find one area in your budget to cut without mercy, and one area to spend on with absolute joy. Of course, for many of us, our financial lives are intertwined with a partner's. Aligning on values and goals is a crucial step for building a strong financial future together. In our next chapter, we'll explore exactly that. Get ready for Chapter 14, Better Together, Managing Money and Financial Goals as a Couple. Hello and welcome back. We've spent the last chapter exploring the deeply personal side of money, how to align your financial decisions with your individual values to build a life of purpose. For many of us, however, our financial journey is not a solo mission. It's a partnership. And the truth is, money is one of the most common sources of conflict in a relationship. But it doesn't have to be. When managed with open communication and a team-oriented spirit, your finances can become a powerful source of unity, strengthening your bond as you work toward a shared vision for the future. Today, we're talking about how to get on the same page. This is Chapter 14, Better Together, Managing Money and Financial Goals as a Couple. This is your guide to turning financial friction into financial harmony. The foundation of a successful financial partnership is not about having the perfect spreadsheet, it's about communication. To facilitate this, I want you to introduce a new ritual into your relationship, the money date. This is a scheduled, regular, and low-stress meeting where you and your partner sit down to talk about your financial life. This is not a time for blame, judgment, or dredging up past mistakes. It's a strategic planning session for your life together. So, make it a positive experience. Schedule it on your calendar, maybe once a month. Turn off the TV, put your phones away, grab a coffee or a glass of wine, and create a space where you can talk openly and honestly. For your very first money date, the agenda is simple. First, you're going to share your money stories. Each of you should talk about your financial upbringing. What did you learn about money from your parents? Was money a source of stress or security in your childhood? Were you taught to be a saver or a spender? This exercise is about building empathy. Understanding your partner's financial background can explain so much about their current habits and anxieties around money. Second, it's time for full financial transparency. This is the moment where you lay all the cards on the table. You need to share the numbers, your incomes, the exact balances on all your debts, student loans, credit cards, car loans, and the amounts in your savings and investment accounts. This step can feel vulnerable, but it is absolutely critical. You cannot create a plan for your future if you don't have an honest map of your starting point. Again, the rule here is zero judgment, just data collection. Finally, you'll end your first money date with the dream session. This is the fun part. Start talking about what you want your life together to look like in 5, 10, and 20 years. Do you want to travel the world? Buy a house with a big backyard? Pay for your kids' college? Retire early and move to the beach? This is where you build your shared why. Getting excited about a common vision is the motivation that will fuel all of your financial decisions moving forward. Once you've established open communication, the next step is to decide on the practical system for managing your day-to-day cash flow. There are 3 common methods, and the right one is simply the one you both agree on. The first is the all-in method. Here, all income from both partners is deposited into one joint checking account. All household bills, expenses, and savings contributions are paid from this single account. The philosophy here is one of total unity. It's not your money or my money, it's our money. This is the simplest method for tracking, but it requires both partners to be fully on board and can sometimes feel like a loss of individual autonomy. The second, and often most popular, method is the yours, mine, and ours hybrid approach. In this system, each partner maintains their own separate checking account, but you also open a third, joint account. You then agree on a system for funding the joint account to cover all shared expenses like rent, utilities, and groceries. You might each contribute an equal dollar amount, or, if your incomes are different, you might each contribute a certain percentage of your income. The money left over in your individual accounts is yours to spend, save, or invest as you see fit, guilt-free. This system brilliantly balances teamwork with personal freedom. The third method is to keep your finances completely separate. Here, each partner manages their own money, and you simply divide up the bills. For instance, one person pays the mortgage, and the other covers all the utilities and food costs. While this offers maximum autonomy, it can make it very difficult to work cohesively toward large, shared goals and can sometimes lead to feelings of inequality or resentment. Whichever system you choose, there are a few ground rules that can help ensure success. First, agree on a spending threshold. This is a dollar amount, say $150, above which any purchase must be discussed with your partner beforehand. This isn't about asking for permission, it's about maintaining transparency and respect for your shared financial plan. Second, it can be helpful to designate a household CFO. This is the person who takes the lead on the administrative task of paying the bills and tracking the budget. This role should go to the partner who is naturally more organized or simply enjoys it more. However, being the CFO is not the same as being the boss. The other partner must stay engaged and informed through your regular money dates. Managing money as a couple is a skill, and it's one of the most important ones you can develop together. It's not about agreeing on every single purchase. It's about having a shared vision for the future and a plan that you are both committed to. It's about treating your finances as a team sport. You have now learned how to manage your money as an individual and as a couple. You have all the tools and all the strategies. In our final chapter, we will bring everything together to discuss the ultimate destination of this journey. Get ready for Chapter 15, Financial Freedom, bringing it all together and living a rich life. Welcome, for the final time, to Smart Ways to Save Money in the US in 2025. We have been on an incredible journey together. We started with the simple, fundamental act of understanding where your money was going. From there, we systematically built a complete financial machine, piece by piece. You learned to play defense by cutting costs and protecting yourself with a fortress of savings and insurance. You learned to play offense by demolishing debt and firing up the powerful engine of long-term investing. You learned how to align your finances with your deepest values and, if you have a partner, how to operate as a unified team. Today, we bring it all together. This is not just another chapter. It is the destination all our work has been leading to. This is Chapter 15, Financial Freedom, bringing it all together and living a rich life. For 15 chapters, we have discussed the tools, the tactics, and the strategies. But what is the ultimate goal? It is to achieve financial freedom. Let's be very clear about what this means. Financial freedom is not necessarily about being a multimillionaire with a private jet. For most of us, financial freedom is simply the point at which our assets, our investments and other income streams, generate enough money to cover our essential living expenses. It is the moment when work becomes a choice, not a necessity. It is the ultimate form of empowerment because it gives you control over your most valuable and finite resource, your time. To reach this destination, you have built your life upon 5 unshakable pillars. Think of these as the core principles of your new financial reality. The first pillar is your blueprint. You are the architect of your life, and your values-based budget is your master plan. You are no longer a passive passenger in your financial life. You are the driver, consciously directing every dollar with purpose. The second pillar is your fortress. You are now secure. You are no longer financially fragile, living one unexpected bill away from disaster. Your emergency fund is your moat, protecting you from life's inevitable surprises, and your insurance policies are your high walls, defending you against true catastrophe. The third pillar is your engine. Your money is no longer idle. It is a dedicated employee working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Through your consistent, automated contributions to low-cost investments, you have built a powerful engine of compound growth that is relentlessly building your wealth for the future. The fourth pillar is your accelerator. You know how to play offense. You have a plan that has eliminated the soul-crushing drag of high-interest debt, and you understand how to increase your income to pour more fuel on your financial fire, dramatically speeding up your journey. And the fifth pillar is your team. You are aligned. Whether that team is just you, or you and a partner, you now approach your financial life with open communication, a shared vision, and a spirit of collaboration, ensuring everyone is rowing in the same direction. With these pillars firmly in place, you can now focus on defining what a truly rich life means to you. For too long, society has defined being rich as simply having a big house, a fancy car, and an impressive net worth. I want you to reject that definition and create your own. A rich life is not about having more stuff, it's about having more of what matters to you. Ask yourself these questions. If you woke up tomorrow and never had to work for money again, what would you do with your time? What passions would you pursue? What problems would you solve? What would you learn? Who would you spend more time with? The answers to these questions define your rich life. Perhaps for you, a rich life is the freedom to leave a high-stress corporate job for a lower-paying but more fulfilling career. Maybe it's the ability to work part-time and be fully present for your children. Or maybe it is retiring early to travel the world or dedicate your life to a cause you believe in. The entire purpose of building wealth is to have the resources to fund this authentic, purpose-driven life. Your money is the tool. Your rich life is the masterpiece you will build with it. So what now? The beautiful truth is that the hard part is over. You have designed and built the system. Your job now is not to hustle and grind, but to simply be consistent. Your automated savings and investments are your greatest allies. They will keep working for you, quietly in the background, even when life gets busy and your motivation ebbs and flows. Trust the system you have built. Your only ongoing task is to schedule an annual financial checkup. Once a year, sit down to review your goals, check on your investments, shop your insurance rates, and ensure your financial plan still aligns with your life's vision. Financial health, much like physical health, is not a destination you arrive at. It is a lifelong practice of small, wise choices, repeated over and over again. You have invested your time and attention over these 15 chapters, and in doing so, you have given yourself the greatest gift possible: control over your destiny. You now understand that small, consistent actions, when repeated over a long period of time, lead to truly extraordinary results. You have the map, you have the tools, and you have the knowledge. You have everything you need to build a future of security, purpose, and, ultimately, freedom. Thank you for joining me on this journey. The road ahead is yours to pave. Now go and build your rich life.